Later today, I'll be traveling to Washington to offer my help in getting this deal done. And then I'll travel to Oxford, Mississippi on Friday for the first of our presidential debates. Our election's in 40 days, our economy's in crisis, our nation is fighting 2 wars abroad. The American people, I believe, deserve to hear directly from myself and Senator McCain about how we intend to lead our country. The times are too serious to put our campaign on hold or to ignore the full range of issues that the next president will face. Since CGI is about deeds and not just words, let me tell you about 4 specific commitments that I will make on 4 issues that CGI has focused on: climate change, poverty, education, and health, if I have the opportunity to serve as President of the United States. Here's how I will approach these issues. We live in a time when our destinies are shared. The world is more intertwined than at any time in human history. Walls that divided old enemies have come down. Markets have opened up. The spread of information and technology has reduced barriers to opportunity and prosperity and opened doors to new competition and risk. We have heard this time and again since the end of the Cold War, and over the last few weeks this truth has been reinforced anew. In America, we have seen that there is no dividing line between the ability of people to live their dreams on Main Street and the bottom line of investment banks on Wall Street. There's a lesson that cuts across this economic crisis. Prosperity cannot be sustained if it shuts people out. Growth cannot just come from the top down. It must come from the bottom up, with new jobs that pay good wages and new innovation that creates opportunity across the globe. And in the 21st century, we must also recognize that it's not just prosperity that comes from the bottom up. Our security is shared as well. The carbon emissions in Boston or Beijing don't just pollute the immediate atmosphere, they imperil our planet. Pockets of extreme poverty in Somalia can breed conflict that spills across borders. The child who goes to a radical madrasa outside of Karachi can end up endangering the security of my daughters in Chicago. And the deadly flu that begins in Indonesia can find its way to Indiana within days. Climate change, poverty, extremism, disease, these are issues that offend our common humanity. They also threaten our common security, and you know this. The question is, what do we do about it? We're not going to face these threats of the future by grasping at the ideas of the past. In many cases, we know what we have to do. We talk about the solutions year after year. This must be the time when we choose not to wait any longer. We must marshal the will. We must see that none of these problems can be dealt with in isolation, nor can we deny one and effectively tackle another. And that's why you've come to CGI, because that's what this moment calls us to do. Now, no single issue sits at the crossroads of as many currents as energy. And you already heard from Vice President Gore, who I think explained very well exactly what's going on. Our dependence on oil and gas funds terror and tyranny. It's forced families to pay their wages at the pump, and it puts the future of our planet in peril. This is a security threat, an economic albatross, and a moral challenge of our time. The time to debate whether climate change is man-made has passed. It's time finally for America to lead.